What if getting older didn't mean giving up? Dear friend, what would you do if one day you could no longer take care of yourself? Would you rush into a nursing home, or would you dare to choose something different? You see, aging is certain, but how we live as we age, that part is still up to us. Too often, the moment we slow down, the world rushes in with a quiet suggestion. Maybe it's time to step aside, to settle, to give up. But not everyone listens to that voice. And in today's video, you'll meet 6 remarkable people who chose another way. Some said no to nursing homes, some said yes to community, some held on to the life they built, and others, they built something new at 70, 80, even 92. These are not just stories about growing old, they're stories about growing deeper into joy, independence, connection, and courage. So if you've ever feared what comes next, if you've ever wondered if life still holds something for you, this video is for you. Let's walk through it, one story at a time. Dear friend, some people believe that when we get old, our world becomes smaller. Fewer friends, fewer choices, less meaning. But that's not what happened to Mrs. Hargrove. She was a retired teacher in her 70s. She had spent her life helping children grow. But now, her house felt quiet. Her days felt long. Her family thought maybe it was time for a nursing home. But she said, "No, I still have something to give." Instead, she moved into a lively community for older adults. It wasn't quiet. It was full of laughter, music, and people who still wanted to live fully. At first, her kids were unsure, but within a few months, everything changed. Mrs. Hargrove started teaching knitting. She made new friends. She smiled more. She felt needed again. But there's something even deeper that happened. In this new community, she met all kinds of people. Some were kind, some were hard to understand, but each person taught her something, and slowly, she began to see a deeper truth. This is how life works. We plant seeds through our actions, words, and thoughts. Then life brings us conditions, people, places, or events that help us grow. From that, we get results. Not always what we expect, but always what we need to learn. So when she smiled at a neighbor who didn't smile back, or helped someone who reminded her of an old student, she realized every moment is a lesson. Mrs. Hargrove wasn't just living in a new place. She was learning again. She was growing again. She was becoming herself in a new way. Her story reminds us, when we choose to be part of a community, we don't just find friends, we find meaning. We find reflections of who we've been and who we can still become. So if you ever feel lonely or stuck, remember Mrs. Hargrove. She started over, and she started to shine again. You're not too old. You're not too late. There is still more life waiting for you. You see, Mrs. Hargrove found new meaning by joining a new community. She grew, not by staying the same, but by saying yes to change. And that same kind of courage, you'll find it in Mr. Thompson too. But his path wasn't about joining others. It was about answering a call he had ignored for far too long. Mr. Thompson was 92 years old. He had silver hair, a kind smile, and a restless heart. All his life, he had dreamed of travel, but work, bills, family, health. There was always something that made him say, maybe later. But one day, later became now. With the help of his daughter, he packed a bag and took the first flight of his life, at 92. They walked together through the streets of Paris. They sat quietly in small cafes. They hiked green hills in Italy and watched the sun set over the sea in Greece. But this wasn't luxury travel. No tour buses, no 5-star hotels. Mr. Thompson wanted something real. They stayed in small homes, ate local food, got lost on purpose, and in every country, he felt something come alive again. He didn't need a guidebook, because every moment became the guide. Every smell, every sound, every new face, it all reminded him he was still here, still living. Some people say, you're too old to travel, you need to slow down. But Mr. Thompson believed something else. If you still feel a dream in your heart, it's not too late to follow it. And the truth is, the world doesn't just belong to the young, it belongs to the curious, the bold, the ones who say, I don't know how many days I have left, but I want each one to mean something. His story reminds us, adventure doesn't always mean faraway places. It means doing something that makes your eyes light up again. It means saying yes to the part of you that's still alive. So if there's a country you've always wanted to see, a language you wanted to learn, or even just a part of your town you've never explored, remember Mr. Thompson. He waited 92 years to go. and the moment he did, life began again. Mr. Thompson's story reminds us that adventure doesn't always need youth, it just needs a brave heart. But what if your body can't go far? What if stairs hurt, your hands shake, or walking tires you out? That's where Grandma Ruth's story begins. She was in her 80s. She couldn't move around like she used to. Her family gently suggested a nursing home, a place where she'd be safe. But Grandma Ruth didn't want that. She didn't want to give up her home, her garden, her favorite chair by the window. So she made a different choice. With help from her grandchildren, she learned to use technology. It started simple: a smartphone to make calls, a tablet to read books, a smart speaker to turn off the lights and lock the doors. And slowly, something shifted. She wasn't calling her family less, she was calling them more and seeing their faces. She joined video chats, played online games with her grandkids, watched them sing at school from her living room. She even started a digital photo wall that updated every time her daughter shared a picture. But more than convenience, technology gave her back something she thought she had lost: independence. She could ask for help when she needed it. But she didn't have to wait, worry, or feel like a burden. She stayed in her home, stayed connected, stayed in charge of her life, and she laughed more than ever before. Her story reminds us, technology isn't just for the young. It's for anyone who wants to stay connected, stay capable, and stay home. Yes, it takes patience to learn. Yes, it can feel strange at first, but when you learn to use it, it becomes your new set of wings. So if you're scared of technology, if the buttons confuse you, if the screens feel too small or too bright, start slow. Ask for help. And remember, Grandma Ruth, because she proved something powerful. You're never too old to learn something new. And sometimes, the right tool can give you back the life you thought you had to leave behind. Grandma Ruth showed us that when the world feels smaller, technology can help you reach out and live fully again. But not everyone needs screens to feel alive. Some people just need soil. That was Mr. Clark. He was 79. And for most of his life, his garden was his joy. Roses, tomatoes, lemon trees, all grown by his hands. Every morning he walked among them, talked to them, thanked them. But as the years passed, things changed. His back ached, his knees got weak. The garden felt bigger, heavier. His family started to worry. Maybe it's time to let it go, they said. Maybe it's time to rest. But Mr. Clark wasn't ready to stop growing, so he didn't give up the garden. He transformed it. He chose fewer plants, simpler tools, raised beds he could reach without bending. He turned a big, exhausting space into a small, beautiful one, full of color and peace. And something amazing happened. He smiled again. He didn't grow as much, but he grew with more love, more care, more presence. Every flower was a quiet celebration, every tomato a small victory, and his family, they were amazed, not just by the garden, but by how alive he still was. Mr. Clark's story teaches us this. You don't have to give up what you love. You just have to meet it where you are now. Life changes, bodies change, but joy doesn't have to end. It can simply grow in a new shape. So if your body says no to what you used to do, don't walk away. Just ask, how can I do this differently? Because sometimes less is more, and slowing down might help you feel something even deeper than before. Mr. Clark didn't stop growing. He simply learned to grow smarter, and that is a kind of wisdom only age can give. Mr. Clark showed us that when we adjust how we live, we don't lose our joy. We find a deeper version of it. And sometimes, joy lives in the place we've always been. For Mildred, that place was home. She was 84 years old. Her children worried about her living alone. They talked gently about nursing homes, about safety and peace of mind. But for Mildred, peace of mind meant something different. It meant sitting in the same chair where she once rocked her babies to sleep. It meant walking past the wall with her grandchildren's drawings. It meant knowing, without looking, where the creaky floorboard was in the hallway. This wasn't just a house. It was a story. Her story. The birthdays, the Sunday dinners, the quiet tears, the loud laughter. Her memories didn't live in photo albums. They lived in the corners, the smells, the light that hit the window at 4 p.m. every day. So instead of leaving, she found a way to stay. Her daughter stopped by every Tuesday with groceries. Her grandson helped install safety bars and voice-activated lights. Neighbors checked in with warm meals and short visits. And in all of that care, Mildred stayed right where she felt most alive. Her story reminds us, home is not just a place, it's a feeling. And for many of us, leaving it feels like tearing a page out of our own book. But here's the beauty. You don't always have to leave behind what you've built. Sometimes you just need to surround it with support. And when you do, you don't just preserve a house, you protect a legacy. So if you've lived somewhere that holds your heart and you're wondering if it's time to move on, remember Mildred. She didn't stay out of fear. She stayed out of love, for the memories, for her story, and for the quiet power of belonging. Sometimes the right place for you isn't somewhere new. It's where your roots already are. Aging is not the end of the road. It's a return to what matters most. Through 6 simple, powerful stories, we're reminded that growing older doesn't mean losing your independence, your purpose, or your joy. Whether it's finding new community like Mrs. Hargrove, chasing long-held dreams like Mr. Thompson, embracing technology like Grandma Ruth, or holding on to home like Mildred, each story whispers the same truth. You are not done. You are not too old. You still have something beautiful to live, to give, and to grow. So whatever age you are, don't rush into a place that says you can't. Pause. Look deeper. Ask what kind of life still wants to bloom in me, because the answer might just surprise you. You didn't just watch. You walked with us. Dear friend, if you're still here, still watching, still listening, then you didn't just hear 6 stories about aging. You walked through them. With us. With each person. And with something deep inside your own heart. Maybe you saw yourself in Mrs. Hargrove, rediscovering purpose in new places. Or in Mr. Thompson, feeling that quiet ache for adventure that still hasn't left. Maybe you smiled with Grandma Ruth as she turned fear of change into a bridge to connection. Or nodded gently with Mr. Clark, who proved that slowing down doesn't mean giving up. And maybe, just maybe, you felt a tear rise when Mildred chose to stay, not out of fear, but out of love for the life she built. Every story here has one thread in common. You're not too late, and you're not alone. Aging is not a door closing. It's a door opening inward, to memory, to meaning, to the quiet strength that's been with you all along. So wherever you are right now, in a city apartment, a quiet countryside, or the same house you've lived in for 50 years, we hope this video didn't just pass the time. We hope it passed the light back to you. You're still growing, and the story isn't over. It's simply turning the page.